Free beer and hot wings in the morning. Grand Rapids rocks all day. 97.9 GRD rocks.
Mostly sunny. Not at the moment or anytime soon.
No,
More
when?
humid today. 89 the high. It's about 70 downtown GR.
I brought my running shorts to work. I was going to run home today.
Just
After
leave
a
your
week.
car here?
Well, then I was going to come ride my bike back and get the car.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like
maybe.
it's supposed to keep raining heavier for an hour. And then by 1 p.m., trail off. And then mostly cloudy, partly cloudy. And then getting clear, no problem, about 8 o'clock tonight.
I'll wait
just
till
in
then.
time.
Yeah.
Just in time.
There's plenty of activities to keep me busy here at the office.
So just a side note, I had mentioned it last week on segment 17, and we had mentioned it once before. The Grand Rapids Football Club had like what came down to a de facto championship game on Friday against Ann Arbor, and there were almost 7,000 people there.
Yeah.
I got to go.
I
they
totally
have a
forgot
playoff
about
game
it.
coming up.
I
I
should have
know.
gone. I want to go.
Me too.
It looks the atmosphere looks amazing. They meet at a bar first. They all walk down. Everybody sings and they're loud. That's what it's supposed to be like.
Wanna
That
wear a
that
flag
is
like a
pretty
cape.
awesome.
I do want to wear a flag like a cape.
Paint my face.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people do it.
And then I feel like here you wouldn't have to worry about hooligans and
No, I wouldn't think
violence.
so.
Which
No,
is something
probably
that I
not
would worry
yet.
about
Not
overseas.
Yet. I assume that probably a lot of families go at this point, but
Now, in Detroit is getting an MLS team that will compete. So Major League Soccer.
ooh, the Express.
Is that going to be their name?
I don't know. That's what they used to be called when they had Major League Soccer, like in the early '80s. They were the Detroit Express.
I feel like they'll probably go with a different name. A lot
Yeah.
of them are just, some of them now, the more recent teams are just, using football club, Detroit FC.
yeah, a lot
But, like,
more are.
What's
but
Seattle, Justin?
Sounders.
The Sounders.
FC.
Portland is the
Timbers.
Chicago's the Fire, I think.
Yeah,
Still.
New York, New Jersey Red Bulls. Guess who sponsored that?
Oh, that'd be an
Oh.
awesome sponsor.
Awesome sponsor, but bad name.
It's not great.
Doesn't fit in.
No, it doesn't.
No. They should be the mobsters or something cool.
The meatballs.
Cool.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks
the meatballs.
Mobsters is cool.
The meatball mobsters.
I wish now Grand Rapids is probably a little small of a city to get that because I think all or most of these teams play in soccer exclusive stadiums.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
no kidding. I thought at some point the Fire they played at Soldier Field.
Maybe they still
that
do,
might
but a
not
lot
be
of
the
them I know
case.
have built stadiums. Like when you fly into Newark, you can see the stadium they built for the Red Bulls. It's pretty immaculate. And I think they typically hold like 30 or 40,000, a little smaller than football stadiums. Well, how big is the Sounders?
It's CenturyLink Field.
Oh, so they don't have their own stadium.
No, they don't. They don't need it, though, because CenturyLink is so beautiful. It's brand new.
Yeah, and it probably still fills up. I remember
It
seeing
does.
they have
It's
big crowds for
crazy.
soccer there. They wear the same colors as the
Yep, lime green.
Seahawks. Yeah. But yeah, so Detroit's getting a team. Maybe Grand Rapids kind of has a team. Maybe it'll get to the point
Yeah.
where they'll do like Europe, where the team at the bottom of the MLS gets relegated, and the team that wins the next higher division gets to go up and compete with the
That would be
other
cool.
teams. I always thought that
I
was
like
a
that
great
idea.
model.
It is.
They should do that with
Well,
hockey.
then you have someone to. If your
Can you imagine
your
if you're
team
the-
isn't in it, then you have someone to root for.
Yeah. Can you imagine if the year the Griffins won the cup, the next year they got to be in the NHL, and the NHL's worst team got to go to the AHL?
That'd be
It would
excellent.
be all of a sudden. So yeah, the Grand Rapids Griffins are playing on the road at Toronto against the Maple Leafs, not the Marlies.
But then how do they work it so that players don't move up to the? I mean, then the Red Wings wouldn't be able to take any players from the Griffins.
Yeah, as long as it's the minor league, you can't
Yeah.
do that. It has to just be a
A
different
league.
Because then that would be a great motivation. Oh, you got snubbed by the good league. Go to that.
Like, how about
play
this?
your way in.
If is it the Lumberjack? Who's the Muskegon team?
Used to be the Lumberjacks. I think it still is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
Imagine if they move up to the NHL.
Well, that would be crazy. A bunch of
would be
guys who can't
crazy.
skate backwards.
I
are
know,
only
that would be
17 years old.
great.
It would be a
So
movie
great.
right there, playing before our very eyes.
So this was a pretty big story, especially on Facebook last week. I know a lot of people. I have a lot of pet lovers and a lot of friends who've worked with the Humane Society and do animal rescue.
Yeah.
And the times have changed over the years. I mean, like when I was a kid, when we'd go to the mall, there was always the pet store in the mall. And the big thing they sold were puppies and kittens. That was a big deal. But
Yeah.
for years now.
Well, but back then it wasn't so much like designer pets.
Right.
Not like it is now.
Right.
Back then it was still you were just as
Well, they
likely
didn't
to
call it that,
You were
but-
still just as likely to get a mutt at one of those places, or common things like a golden retriever
Yeah.
or a lab,
I just think people didn't think about it.
think that
Think about
was
puppy
probably-
mills and
No,
things like that.
no. I mean, everybody I knew had a mutt. Everybody
Yeah.
had a mutt.
Well, this store opened last week, sort of the Barking Boutique. It opened, and there was a quick outcry on social media, and then it quickly made it on to MLive
Yeah.
and local TV stations and everything else. And so I guess it was Friday that the announcement was made that they were taking away, revoking the lease. Bad news for the guy that opened it. Here's Fox 17 with the story.
Less than 1 week after opening its doors, one West Michigan business now being forced to close. The Barking Boutique, a so-called designer dog store, was originally set to open at the Lakes Mall of Muskegon County in May, but instead quietly opened at the Woodland Mall in Kentwood just this past Tuesday. But now, just a few days of being in business, the mall has terminated the store's lease. And new tonight, Fox 15's Rebecca Russell is live in studio after speaking with the store's owner about the backlash she's been facing. Rebecca.
Right, Josh. The owner, David Bolkus, tells me he feels stuck. After investing tens of thousands of dollars into the Barking Boutique, he's now forced to vacate the space by Monday night. He says he's being kicked out
Wow.
largely.
That is a fast turnaround.
Yeah,
it
it
is.
Did they think he was opening a different type of store?
I don't know.
knew what
Yeah,
he
like
was
that he
doing.
was going to open
In
up
part
like
because of
fancy
false
dog treats or
Right.
Let me switch to the audio real quick. Try to find it.
saying he tried to find these puppies' forever homes the right way. Monday night, he says he's being kicked out largely in part because of false information, saying he tried to find these puppies' forever homes the right way.
It was a joke to me.
That was store owner David Bolkus's reaction after hearing about people boycotting the Woodland Mall because of his store, the Barking Boutique.
On Friday night at 9 o'clock, I got a notice from Priet that I had 72 hours, so by Monday night, I had to be out of the space. And I got that notice on Friday night when you can't get a hold of a lawyer, you can't get a hold of attorneys, or basically anybody to counsel with what to do.
Luckily, he says they found homes for all of their puppies, leaving him to take care of his store, his employees, and his debt.
We put a lot of money into that storefront to redo floors, paint, walls, the storefront, everything, and then also all the inventory.
I saw one number quoted. It was $70,000 he had invested. A lot of it's his own personal money, his savings. Mom apparently took money out of retirement to kind of fund this. I'm surprised he's so surprised, only in that they tried to open at the Lakes Mall in Muskegon, and there was some backlash there. And so then you quietly open here.
Well, what happened?
Maybe the thought is, oh, just make it through the beginning. People will be mad, but then they'll go, okay, well, I'm involved in a legal business.
Yeah,
it's not like
right.
he's opening,
No, he's
a
not.
prostitution store in the
Right.
mall.
No, it's a legit business. I don't.
I wouldn't go to it. I don't
it's
see
not
a need
my.
for
It's
it.
not my thing.
No.
I prefer people to rescue animals rather than get a designer dog of some sort. But whatever, it's still a legit business though. And if unless he entered literally under completely false pretenses that there weren't going to be any animals in it or something.
Yeah, man.
According to what I read, he was up front with them,
But
and
if he
they
was-
said they'd stand. The company that's based in Philadelphia said they'd stand by him through the process.
Well, they've
And
got
then
to.
didn't.
To me, that's a lawsuit. I mean, if it's all on the up and up, that they knew exactly what he was doing and everything else. I don't know how they're not on the hook, not only to repay him for the money he's invested in it, but you would think that there would be extra money involved too,
Yeah, they broke the lease.
because it's wasted his time, money, the stress, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the business, but it's a business. It's a legit business.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him for a while, but there was a quote that he came out with that made me go, all right, well, so be it. We'll see if it's any-
Puppies, everything.
The Barking Boutique largely criticized for its designer puppies, where they come from, and their price tag. Some of the dogs costing as much as $4,000.
They work with unethical breeders, that there's too many animals in shelters locally and euthanasias, and that we don't see the picture of the mother and father.
Well,
There are bad breeders out there. We're not denying that. We don't work with them.
After the Woodland Mall posted they'd be parting ways with the Barking Boutique, they received mixed reviews on their Facebook page. One person applauding the mall for their decision, another calling for the mall to reopen the store. But Bolkus still defending his ways.
And so it's science-based information, not rumors.
And we reached out
Not a rumor. What are you even talking about?
Science-based.
Yeah.
again to the Woodland Mall for further comment on their decision to shut the store down, but haven't heard back. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe page was created by one of the boutique's employees trying to offset some of their debt. They were also able to get in contact with some legal counsel. So, Josh, this likely will not be the last that we're hearing about this story.
I doubt it. And I mean, one of the many comments that we heard online yesterday was, is the mall in good legal standing to be able to terminate this store's lease so quickly?
Right. Well, the owner explained to me that they have a special type of lease where they're able to terminate it at any time, whether they're causing issues or...
Not really a lease, then.
No.
I mean, if that's the case...
Every lawyer we've ever dealt with said if the contract doesn't bind both sides equally, that's not a contract. That's a screw job.
I am sure as hell... Well, he's not going to get any money. I'm not going to dump money into a place if they can boot me.
Right.
No.
Yeah, but then again, he knew what he was signing.
That is, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
That's all there
if he
is
didn't
to
get
it.
legal counsel before he opened the business, that would be a huge mistake.
I frankly don't blame them for having that kind of contract, because what if you do get somebody in there who then says, sorry, you signed a contract, I get to stay here for 2 years?
I guess then you should know what you're getting into.
Yeah, you have to outline the parameters much more tightly then as to what type of a store it is and how it's going to be operated.
And if you then sign the lease and you don't like the backlash, well, you signed it. Like, you knew what was going to happen. So live with it at this point.
Or breaking some type of rule, but those anchor stores like Macy's and JCPenney, they have that more permanent type of lease.
I see.
That's pretty much it.
This is the quote he had about he said Priet, which is the management company out of Philadelphia, caved into the bullying and intimidation tactics of animal rights activists. He said shelters are protecting their, quote, monopoly on dog retail and their common practice of trafficking dogs into Michigan from southern states and other unknown origin. Referring to the 10,000 dogs he said have been imported to Michigan shelters from other states in 2015 and 2016. I don't know if you want to take a run at the agency that's trying to save dogs' lives.
No, you're selling $4,000 designer dogs, you a-hole.
Yeah. He says, in contrast, all the families adopting from us are given full visibility of the origin and pedigree of their puppy. I don't think people going to the Humane Society to try to get a mother like, oh boy, I hope the mom and dad were nice.
Yeah.
Now,
just trying to save a life.
I mean, I don't blame him for being butthurt, because I wouldn't be surprised if there were a lot of Humane Society lovers or, people that even work there that were trying to get the guy booted. I mean, there's no doubt there's no love lost between those two different types of pet groups.
And I think the Humane Society of West Michigan had a statement about it.
Do you think it would be, to keep hold of their monopoly, though?
I don't think.
No. I don't blame the guy for being butthurt.
No,
and because
I don't either.
if they organized against him when he has a legitimate business, I understand why he would be upset about that.
Yeah. But to say they have a monopoly on the retail of dogs, there's nobody getting rich at the Humane Societies. Not the local ones. Maybe you might make an argument about the Humane Society of America.
Could be.
I don't know.
That might be a little different. But the local ones are just trying to keep the doors open and the dogs and cats fed. Volunteers in the door. In the end, though, it is one of those things where I'm like, boy, if you're the mall and you're that guy, how did you not see that coming?
Right.
I don't know.
Because if I had walked by that store, like Tuesday when it was open, if I happened to be there at the mall and walked by, my first thought would have been, well, that's not going to go well.
Well, that's just somebody who, I mean, obviously he has his side, so I can see why he wouldn't, plan for it or would be expecting it, but wouldn't expect the company to bail on him.
Yeah.
It's the people at the mall that you go, how can you be that tone deaf to like how people feel about certain things? Like, there are certain groups that are very vocal about their beliefs. Pet owners are those. I mean, that's like, that would be like opening some sort of an anti-breastfeeding store. Right. Good luck with that.
Yeah, right.
You're going to get some backlash.
Somebody should try that.
It's okay for people to only sell formula, but you're going to get backlash.
Oh, man.
The new store, Formula is for the best moms, is opening.
Yeah. Someone's got a nice...
the formula store breast is worst.
What are you going to do? I'm going to stop by Breast Be Damned.
Yeah.
And
I would never go to a store like that.
Yeah. Screw your breasts.
I celebrate the breast and the milk they give.
that would get an entirely a different group of people in there. Ooh, I want to go there.
Mother's milk sucks.
It's a good name.
I love that store.
It's Rage Against the Machine. 97.9 GRD Rocks.